Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I want to say, first off, I hope everyone is well and doing good today. Also, I want to say thank you for all the comments on my last video, which is what we will be talking about today. But I want to say thank you for your interaction and participation. And to the new subscribers, I want to say thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, as we are working hard to grow this channel. Because the more channels like this grow, the better of a chance those that need this information will be able to find it. Also, to help this goal along, please share this video and others like it, and click the like button. The more likes videos like this get, the better of a chance this type of material will find its way to the front of YouTube. So those that are needing this information will have an easier time finding it. And we know what that means. One less person being abused at the hands of a narcissist, which is the goal. And on top of that, one less person going down the road of behaving like a narcissist. Because sadly the social engineers are working really hard to get the average person to adopt these toxic and evil traits. So please share, like and subscribe, because every little bit helps. And if you would like to support this channel further, you can do so by the way of Patreon. There's a link you will find for my Patreon in the description box below. And for those of you that are currently supporting by the way of Patreon, I want to humbly say thank you. Now on with the topic at hand. Narcissism versus confidence. You see, in the last video, I talked about why women are finding so many narcissist men out there. And as I mentioned, just to summarize, I believe that there are just as many narcissist men as there are women. However, there is a growing number with both men and women that aren't full-blown narcissists, but those that adopt their traits in a toxic manner. And what I mean by that is, as I gave the example, you have a woman that is married or with a serious boyfriend, and her so-called girlfriends lure her out into the nightlife. And they talk about how they are cheating on their men, so forth and so on. And while out in the nightlife, men that aren't their husbands and boyfriends are hitting on them. And before you know it, this decent and good woman is tempted to do wrong. It might not happen her first time hanging out in such an environment, but after a few outings, her defenses might drop, and excuses will be made to give in. And before you know it, she is doing something she shouldn't be doing. Now she might cry afterwards. She might get sick. But after she's done this a few times, the connection between normal humanity and empathy starts to loosen. Which is what the social engineers want. And sadly, because of this, men, even confident men, even good-looking confident men, are finding themselves left by women chasing this high of randomness. And all the world says it has to offer her. And they are left because though he might be confident, and though he might be good-looking, he isn't causing the chaos most. Not all. But most women in our society crave. So what does he do? He, like the women in the previous example, gives himself over to the temptation of the dark side. And he listens to men and even women telling him he should start to treat women like dirt. Because women like a man that is unpredictable. And man that has other women he's dealing with. Women like a constant challenge. That's what these men and women say. So this man that normally lives his life in a decent way gives in and becomes a cheater, a liar, and a manipulator, just so he can have the company of a woman. And what he realizes is these techniques not only work, but they work really well. And maybe the first time he does such a thing, he gets sick, or he feels really bad. But over time, just like in the example I gave with the woman going over to the dark side, after a few times of doing this behavior, and being successful at it, the empathy starts to fade away, and the connection to their consciousness begins to loosen. And after explaining this in the last video, in the comment section, there were those that talked about how narcissists are more confident and how women like more confident men. And this assumption isn't completely true. Here's the thing. Narcissists and their victims come in a variety of shapes, sizes, ages, cultures and backgrounds. The big mistake is to look at someone and think based on certain things. They are what appears to be a narcissist and this person is what appears to be a victim. And because society has done this for so long, it has left a lot of holes wide open for narcissists to abuse their victims undetected by society. Because their outward character doesn't show strength, and doesn't show confidence. But when at home, they are as abusive as they come. You see, the covert narcissist, or those that have their traits, know how to convince people of what they want to convince them of. And one of those things they like to convince people of is that they are the victim. Yes. Narcissists can also be the strutting loud guy or lady that is over the top in every way. But just think about that for a moment. These are the people that are easy to avoid, because they are telling you what and who they are. But the reason why narcissism is so horrible is it hides under a mask of fake goodness, and under being a victim when they are really the predator. And in this instance where we are talking about men and women dynamics, not every man that is left by his woman is some homely, shy, completely boring man. Actually, most of these men that I've encountered where this has happened to them were handsome, and had pretty strong personalities, and weren't shy at all. But here's the thing. If they aren't causing chaos in their home by cheating, or staying out late, or whatever, they are deemed as boring. And this goes back to narcissism in general. You see, when we get to the heart of the matter of narcissistic abuse, when we are talking about men and women relationships, we now know that dopamine release at the love bombing stage, though it feels nice, and if someone is giving you this type of treatment for real, and they really love you, this feeling is a good feeling. But what we know is when that feeling is suddenly taken away, which is what most narcissists tend to do, it leaves you starved to get this feeling back. So instead of thinking clearly and running for the hills, we stay engaged in these interactions with this narcissist, hoping this good treatment will return so that dopamine release will happen again. Well, everything that is thrown at women by the social engineers. And this is key, so listen up. Everything these social engineers throw at women in our Western society is geared at this dopamine release. And when a good woman is lured out on ladies' night by her so-called friends, though she knows it's wrong, the happenings at such outings spark that dopamine release in her mind, where it is possible for her to cheat with a man that is half her husband or boyfriend's looks. And he may have a prison record as long as your arm. And even after the fact, where she swears off she will never do such a thing again. And she may really mean it. She doesn't know she's addicted to the dopamine release like a crack addict is addicted to crack. So the toxic behavior happens again and again and again. So men that are dealing with these social engineered women find that the only way they can be successful and not get left for another man is to treat women like complete and utter dirt. Because by doing so, it will keep the woman in chase mode, chasing that high like a junkie chasing a fix of drugs. And men from every walk of life is finding themselves in this spot, where they realize that being honorable doesn't work because of the social engineering that has happened to women. So either they hold out hope they will find a needle in a haystack of a good woman that isn't addicted to the chaos the social engineers have gotten so many women addicted to, or they are listening to both the men and women. Yes, there are plenty of women giving this advice on this subject. And the advice they give is to treat women like dirt, to lie to them, to cheat on them, and keep them guessing. And it's because of that good women are running into one narcissist man after the next. Or at least a man that has narcissist traits. So be careful in how you are seeing things. Yes. Narcissists can give off an air of confidence. But so can the victim. And a narcissist can give off an air of weakness. And so can the victim. Narcissists are great actors. Never forget that. And true victims come from every background you can think about. As an example, because of my appearance, I had women often tell me they were shy to talk to me, because just by appearance alone they thought I was cocky and whatnot. But once they talked to me, they realized my personality was fun, easy to talk to, and friendly. Also, if you watch my videos with Susie and myself, where she is going off on me, I questioned her and spoke up for myself. I wasn't a guy that didn't have confidence. I just didn't have the tools to get out and break the addiction process. However, I must admit, though one is confident, once you are doing the self-work, one needs to morph confidence into self-love. Because there's a big difference. You can be confident and talk strongly and all that, but you must know you are worth good things happening to you. And when bad things happen, you must work on yourself where you feel strongly about getting away from such people that are doing these bad things to you. Why? Because you love yourself. And that's something I never learned as a child. I learned confidence because I had some talents that gave me some praise in my teenage years. My grade school years I was made fun of horribly. But things turned around for me a bit. And I say a bit, because it wasn't huge. But it was enough for me to feel good about myself on a surface level. But though I was confident and at this point had no problem at all talking to women, and was quite confident in doing so, I didn't have the core of self-love and understanding when someone treats you badly no matter what nice things they did for you in the past. I should love myself enough to leave such a toxic situation. And now knowing that, along with understanding the brain's addiction to the dopamine chemicals, it puts things in proper perspective. So what I ask is, don't oversimplify things. Oh well, he must not be confident. And she left because she found a more confident man. That's not it at all. Or at least in many cases. Women are finding more and more narcissist men. Because society says if you want to be successful with a woman, you must adopt these behaviors. Which are behaviors of a narcissist. Because they work. And they not only work, but they work well. And they aren't behaviors of confidence. They are behaviors of getting someone to be literally chemically addicted to you. So they will chase you forever and ever. Just like a drug addict chases their drug of choice. And once we start realizing this is what is happening, the more we can, for one, tell men going down this road isn't such a good idea. But we can also tell women, don't buy into the things your friends and the social engineers are telling you. Because when you do buy into such things, there are consequences. And those consequences is complete and utter addiction. And it will be an addiction that can and will ruin one good relationship after the next if it's not recognized and properly dealt with. I hope this all made sense. Tell me what you think. I would like to keep the discussion going. Because the more we know, the more we grow. With that said, let's continue to pray for wisdom. Let's continue to pray for strength. And let's continue to pray for courage. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.